Today we're going to be talking about deductive reasoning, and our objectives are that we will be able to use valid forms of deductive reasoning, including the law of syllogism and the law of detachment, and that we will be able to determine the validity of a logical argument. So, inductive reasoning is the process of drawing conclusions from a limited set of observations. In this, we use patterns to make a conjecture. The process of forming a logical argument deductive reasoning is the process of forming a logical argument by using facts, definitions, and accepted properties. You can also use laws of logic. A conjecture is an unproven statement and it's based on observations. So, based on the pattern below, make a conjecture about the next shape. So we have a triangle, then a square, then a pentagon. So 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides. What do you think would come next? I agree, something with 6 sides, so a hexagon. A counterexample is a specific example which proves a conjecture false. So, this conjecture says all triangles are equilateral, which means all the sides are the same. Well, a scalene triangle has no congruent sides. No quadrilaterals have congruent sides. Quadrilaterals have 4 sides. A square is a quadrilateral, and it has all congruent sides. So our laws of logic that we can use to prove statements valid. The first one is the law of detachment. This uses one fact. Given that P, if P then Q, and it tells us P is true, then we can draw the conclusion, therefore, Q is true. So let's use deductive reasoning to determine a valid conclusion for this statement. If it is Friday, then the cafeteria sells pizza. Tomorrow is Friday, therefore, the cafeteria will sell pizza. Something to talk about whether it's truth or validity. A statement can be true or false. An argument consists of statements that are true or false. An argument is valid if the conclusion follows logically given the hypothesis. So let's determine if this argument is valid or invalid. If I walk in the rain, then I get wet. So that's P, then Q. I got wet. That's Q. Therefore, I walked in the rain. P. Our law of detachment told us if P then Q, if we have P then Q, then we're told P, then we can draw the conclusion of Q. It doesn't work in the converse. So it is invalid because the converse isn't necessarily true. For example, I got wet. You could have been in the shower or you could have gone to a water park. You didn't necessarily walk in the rain. Our other law of logic is the law of syllogism. It's also called the transitive property, which you may have heard about in Algebra 1. This uses multiple facts. And if we're given P, then Q, and if Q, then R, the conclusion we can draw is therefore P, then R. We can sort of cut out the middleman. So if there are clouds in the sky, then it will rain. If it rains, then I might get wet. We kind of ignore the repetition of it rains and jump from the beginning to the end. If there are clouds in the sky, then I might get wet. Determine whether the argument is valid or invalid. If I live in Sterling, then I live in Virginia. P, then Q. If I live in Herndon, then I live in Virginia. R, then Q. New hypothesis, same conclusion. Therefore, if I live in Sterling, then I live in Herndon. This didn't follow the chain like the law of syllogism tells us. P, then Q, Q, then R. Then we can jump from beginning to end. The middle needs to match. So this is invalid. Arguments don't follow the law of syllogism. Go ahead and write your summary in the summary box, and I'll see you in class.